There are moments in life when something subtle happens inside you before anything changes outside. Nothing dramatic announces it. No one sends a signal. Yet you feel a quiet pressure, like the air before rain. That feeling isn't emptiness. It's preparation. Most people spend years waiting for proof that they matter. A message, a sign, someone finally noticing their effort. But what if the moment you feel unseen is not punishment or delay? What if it's an invitation to realize something far more powerful, that your inner state has already begun shifting, and the world simply hasn't caught up yet? This isn't about pretending everything is fine or forcing positivity. It's about understanding how reality actually responds to you. Not through wishes, not through hope alone, but through the quality of presence you bring into each moment. From the time we're young, we learn to move through life in reaction mode. We respond to pressure. We adapt to expectations. We survive. Over time, this survival mode becomes automatic. Your body learns patterns long before your mind explains them. Tight shoulders, shallow breathing, constant anticipation. These are not personality traits. They're signals your system has been sending for years. And here's the part most people never realize. The body doesn't just react to life. It broadcasts it. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you rehearse, every belief you carry about. Yourself creates a pattern. That pattern becomes familiar. Familiar becomes normal. Normal becomes invisible. And invisible signals run your life more than conscious decisions ever could. This is why waiting for external validation often feels exhausting. You're asking the outside world to do something your inner system hasn't practiced yet. Recognition doesn't arrive as a reward. It arrives as resonance. Think about the moments when you felt most aligned, not necessarily happiest, but most real. Times when you weren't trying to impress, convince, or prove anything. You were simply present, calm, clear, grounded. In those moments, conversations flowed differently. Opportunities felt less forced. Even silence felt supportive. That's not coincidence. That's coherence. Your nervous system, your thoughts, your emotional tone, all of them can move together or against each other. When they're misaligned, life feels heavy. When they synchronize, things begin to organize naturally. This is not magic. It's feedback. The world constantly responds to the information you emit, not just through words, but through posture, timing, attention, and energy. When you move through life, bracing for disappointment, you communicate caution. When you expect resistance, you prepare defensively. And life mirrors that stance back to you. But when you begin to inhabit yourself differently, when your body relaxes into trust instead of tension, you send a different message entirely. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It begins with noticing. Notice how you wake up in the morning. Is your first thought urgency or openness? Notice how you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. Notice how often your body is preparing for something that hasn't happened. Yet, awareness alone starts changing the signal. Many people believe transformation requires dramatic action. Quitting everything, reinventing their identity, making bold declarations. But real change is quieter than that. It happens in small, consistent adjustments that your system can actually integrate. For example, what happens if instead of pushing through exhaustion, you pause for 10 seconds and breathe fully? What happens if instead of criticizing yourself for being behind, you acknowledge where you are without judgment? These moments may seem insignificant, but they retrain your baseline. Your body learns safety through repetition, and safety changes everything. When your system feels safe, creativity returns, intuition sharpens, decisions become clearer. You stop forcing outcomes and start responding intelligently. Life feels less like a battle and more like a conversation. This is where people often misunderstand the idea of frequency. It's not about thinking happy thoughts or denying pain. It's about the overall tone you inhabit. Are you contracted or open? Defensive or receptive? Fragmented or present? Your frequency is not what you say you believe. It's how you move through uncertainty. Imagine two people facing the same challenge. One is tense, resentful, constantly scanning for threats. The other is grounded, attentive, willing to learn. The external situation is identical. The internal experience and therefore the outcome's completely different. The difference isn't luck. It's coherence. Your body is not separate from your intentions. It's the instrument through which they're expressed. That's why intellectual understanding alone doesn't change reality. You can know all the concepts and still feel stuck if your system hasn't embodied them yet. Embodiment comes through practice, not performance. Small choices build new patterns. Choosing rest over self-punishment. Choosing honesty over approval. Choosing presence over distraction. These decisions accumulate. They teach your system that it doesn't need to stay on high alert. And as that happens, something unexpected occurs. You stop chasing acknowledgement because you no longer need it to feel real. Ironically, that's often when it arrives, not because you demanded it, but because you're finally available to receive it. Receiving is a skill most people were never taught. We're taught to give, strive, endure. But receiving requires openness. It requires believing that support doesn't have to be earned through suffering. When you allow care, whether from others, from life, or from yourself, you're not becoming dependent. You're becoming responsive. You're letting information in instead of blocking it. This matters not just for you, but for everyone around you. Every individual contributes to the collective environment. Your internal state affects the conversations you enter, the spaces you occupy, the energy you leave behind. When one person becomes more coherent, it subtly stabilizes the field around them. You've felt this before. Being around someone calm during chaos. Being near someone grounded when you're overwhelmed. Their presence alone shifts the room. That influence doesn't come from authority. It comes from alignment. Purpose, in this sense, isn't something you chase. It emerges when your actions match your inner state. When what you value and how you live stop contradicting each other. Purpose is coherence expressed over time. This is why rushing the process often backfires. Seeds grow underground long before anything is visible. Roots form in darkness. Stability is built quietly. Trust doesn't mean doing nothing. It means acting without panic. It means allowing space for integration. It means understanding that growth has rhythms, and forcing it only creates resistance. If you're in a phase where things feel slow, unclear, or unresolved, it doesn't mean you're failing. It may mean your system is recalibrating, learning a new pace, letting go of old defenses. Pay attention to how often you try to control outcomes instead of refining your presence. Control is often fear wearing determination's mask. Presence is courage without force. Ask yourself simple questions throughout the day, not dramatic ones, practical ones. How can I move through this moment with more ease? What would calm look like right now? What choice supports the version of me I'm becoming? These questions gently guide your system toward coherence. Over time, they change how you experience everything from work to relationships to your own thoughts. And remember, transformation is not linear. Some days you'll feel clear and confident. Other days, old patterns will resurface. That doesn't erase progress. It reveals where compassion is needed next. Be patient with your nervous system. It learned survival for a reason. Thank it, then show it something new. You are not here to constantly prove your worth. You are here to express it. An expression flows best from alignment, not pressure. As you continue on this path, notice what begins to shift without force. Notice who responds differently. Notice how challenges feel less personal and more informational. These are signs that your signal is changing. Reality doesn't need to be convinced. It responds naturally. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to ground it. Breathe. Let it settle. Then, if you feel called, support this channel by liking the video. It helps this work reach others who may need it. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Your perspective adds to the collective conversation. And subscribe if you want to continue exploring these ideas together. You're not behind. You're not missing anything. You're learning how to inhabit your life differently. And that changes more than you realize.